Mrs. Beasley showed up in episode 1 without her glasses. Nobody knows who added them for episode 2. But that one tiny change turned Mrs. Beasley into one of the most beloved dolls in American history. And the little girl who held that doll, her story is waiting at number 1. Before we get there, I need you to do something for me. Close your eyes for 1 second. Picture your family's living room back in 1967. That theme song is playing. Who was sitting next to you? Drop a comment and tell me. I read every single one. Now we start with the man who opened that Fifth Avenue door. The man who let 3 little orphans walk straight into our hearts. He was already a Hollywood veteran before the show even existed, but his real story started long before the cameras ever rolled. He made his first movie before he could read a single word, before talking pictures even existed. 1924. A 3-year-old boy walks onto a silent film set. The movie was Pied Piper Malone. That boy was Robert Albert Keith, born in Bayonne, New Jersey. Both his parents were vaudeville performers, always on the road. Little Robert grew up backstage, sleeping in a different hotel every week. By the time Hollywood learned to talk, he'd already been on screen. Think about that. But here's where his story takes a sharp turn. When World War II broke out, that child actor joined the Marines. Brian Keith flew mission after mission as a rear gunner over the Solomon Islands. He came home with the Air Medal pinned to his chest. After the war, he threw himself back into the work. Broadway, television, westerns. He did it all through the 50s. Then, in 1961, Walt Disney himself picked up the phone. He cast Brian Keith as the lovable father in The Parent Trap. Opposite a young Haley Mills, he became America's favorite dad overnight. 5 years later, he stepped into the role of a lifetime. Uncle Bill Davis, a swinging bachelor on Fifth Avenue who suddenly has 3 orphans at his door. For 5 seasons, Brian Keith made us believe love was stronger than circumstance. He earned 3 Emmy nominations for that very role. After Family Affair, he kept working for 3 more decades. He starred as Judge Hardcastle in Hardcastle and McCormick on ABC. That show ran 3 seasons from 1983 to 86. His final on-screen credit came in 1997, a career stretching more than 6 extraordinary decades, from the silent era to the late 90s. Brian Keith left us in 1997 at 75. And here's one detail that still gives me chills. On the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Brian Keith's star sits right next to Walt Disney's. The man who cast him, the man who trusted him. 2 people who spent their lives bringing joy to American families, side by side, forever. Brian Keith opened that apartment door for all of us. But stay with me, because not everyone on this list got a happy ending. One of the children you're about to see never made it to 30. We'll get there. But first, we need to talk about old Hollywood royalty. That woman was Heather Angel, but she was not alone. Before the main family, 3 remarkable guest stars left their mark on this show. 3 people, 3 wild stories. We are picking up the pace. Number 7 gave her voice to Walt Disney. Twice. She voiced Alice's sister in Alice in Wonderland and Mrs. Darling in Peter Pan. Heather Angel was already a stage actress at London's Old Vic at 17. She crossed to Hollywood in 1932 and appeared in over 60 films. On Family Affair, she played Miss Favisham across all 5 seasons. She earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But here is the detail that stops you cold. Her father, Professor Andrea Angel, gave his life in a World War I munitions explosion. Heather was 7 years old. He received the Edward Medal for bravery. Heather Angel left us in 1986 at 77. Number 6 was Alfred Hitchcock's favorite English gentleman. John Williams won the Tony Award for Dial M for Murder on Broadway in 1953. Hitchcock liked him so much, he cast Williams in the film version too. Williams also starred in To Catch a Thief alongside Cary Grant and Grace Kelly, and he appeared in more than 10 episodes of Alfred Hitchcock Presents. But here is why he matters to this story. In 1967, Sebastian Cabot fell seriously ill during season 1. John Williams stepped in as Niles French, Mr. French's brother. For 9 episodes, he held that family together. John Williams left us in 1983 at 80. Now about Sebastian Cabot. The man who played Mr. French was a professional wrestler who never finished school. That story is coming. But first, one more name you need to hear. Number 5 got her biggest break because of a mistake. Director George Abbott thought she was a different actress named Helen Walker. He cast her in a small part in the 1941 musical Best Foot Forward, but her real talent was undeniable. The role was rewritten into a starring part. She kept the name Walker from that day on. She played Ida Morgenstern on The Mary Tyler Moore Show and Rhoda. For nearly 2 decades, she was Rosie in the Bounty paper towel commercials. The quicker picker-upper. That was her. On Family Affair, she joined the final season as Emily Turner. Nancy Walker left us in 1992 at 69. 3 guest stars, 3 completely different lives, all woven into one show. But the man who held that show together was someone nobody saw coming. A school dropout at 14, a professional wrestler, and somehow the most dignified butler on American television. Number 4 was a professional wrestler. 3 years in the ring, London, before World War II, and then he became the most dignified butler in television history. Stay with me, this story is wild. He dropped out of school at 14 when his father's business fell apart. His first job was in an automotive garage. Then he became a cook, then a wrestler. Nobody looked at this kid and saw Mr. French. But Sebastian Cabot, born Charles Sebastian Thomas Cabot in London, 1918, he had a plan nobody saw coming. He found work as a chauffeur and personal valet for the actor Frank Pettingell. Being around actors every single day lit a fire in him. He taught himself to speak with elegance and polish. He joined a theater company and lied about his experience to land his first role. He never looked back. He later said he believed acting was a form of lying, and he had gotten very good at it. That voice opened doors nobody expected. Walt Disney hired him to voice Bagheera, the wise Black Panther, in The Jungle Book in 1967. He narrated the beloved Winnie the Pooh animated shorts. He won a Grammy Award in 1975. And on Family Affair, that voice became Mr. Giles French, the unflappable gentleman's gentleman who somehow learned to change diapers, braid pigtails, and love 3 children as his own. He was nominated for an Emmy for the role. Sebastian Cabot left us in 1977. He was only 59 years old. But before we move on, you absolutely need to know this. In 1967, while still playing Mr. French, Sebastian Cabot walked into a recording studio. What came out is one of the strangest albums in music history. Sebastian Cabot, actor. Bob Dylan, poet. A dramatic reading with music. You heard that right. Mr. French recited the lyrics of Like a Rolling Stone and Blowing in the Wind in his distinguished English accent over sweeping orchestral arrangements. It is now a cult classic. And it is exactly as magnificent as it sounds. Seeing Mr. French again after all these years brings back something, doesn't it? Let me ask you this. How many of you secretly wished you had a Mr. French growing up? Someone who made everything feel safe no matter what was happening? Tell me in the comments. I know I am not the only one. A working-class wrestler who became television's greatest gentleman. Now we turn to the 2 surviving stars of Family Affair. They were children when those cameras first rolled. One of them found his way through, but one of those children carried a weight that no one saw until it was almost too late. Number 3 was 6 years old when America fell in love with his freckles, his red hair, and his giant heart. Brian Keith found him first. While shooting The Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming in 1966, Keith spotted a boy on set. Red hair, freckles everywhere, a grin that could light up a whole soundstage. Keith was so charmed, he personally arranged the kid's audition for Family Affair. That kid was Johnny Whitaker, born John Orson Whitaker Jr. in Van Nuys, California in 1959. He was 7 years old, and that audition changed his entire life. For 5 seasons, little Jody Davis lit up every scene he walked into. After the show ended, Johnny didn't slow down, he sped up. In 1972 alone, he starred in 3 Disney films. And then came a moment that belongs in Hollywood trivia history. In the 1973 musical Tom Sawyer, Johnny Whitaker starred opposite a 10-year-old co-star named Jodie Foster. The two had already worked together in Disney's Napoleon and Samantha the year before. But Tom Sawyer gave Foster something new. That scene was her very first on-screen kiss. He followed that with Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, the beloved Saturday morning series from Sid and Marty Krofft. But the years after the spotlight were not easy for Johnny Whitaker. He has spoken openly about his personal struggles as an adult and about the faith that carried him through the worst of it. Here is what makes Johnny different from so many child star stories. He turned his pain into purpose. For more than 20 years now, once a month, he walks into a county jail. He leads a 12-step meeting. He brings hope to people who feel like they have run out of it. Today, at 66 years old, Johnny Whitaker is working on 4 new projects: a documentary about drug policy, a memoir, a short film called Sky Bleu. In his own words, 66 years old, it is now or never. And here is a detail that feels almost too perfect to be real. Johnny Whitaker and Kathy Garver share the exact same birthday, December 13th, 14 years apart. They were TV siblings on screen, and they still celebrate together to this very day. She was the big sister who held the family together when Uncle Bill was away. And at 80 years old, she is still holding it all together. A can of hairspray almost changed television history. The producers of Family Affair wanted a blonde girl, blue eyes, golden hair, the whole package. Kathy Garver had brown hair and brown eyes. She was wrong for the part on paper. But her mother grabbed a can of Streaks and Tips hairspray. She sprayed Kathy's hair until it turned bronze gold. That hair was so stiff you could tap it like a helmet. And Kathy walked into that audition room with a dream. She got the part. But here is the thing about Kathy Garver. She did not come out of nowhere. At just 8 years old, she stood in front of a movie camera. The legendary director Cecil B. DeMille handpicked her for a role in The 10 Commandments. That was 1956. A decade later, that hairspray audition changed everything. For 5 seasons, Cissy Davis became the big sister every viewer wished they had. Now, most child actors fade after the spotlight moves on. Kathy Garver did the opposite. She became the voice of Firestar in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. She narrated more than 80 audiobooks, and in 2026, at 80 years old, she is having the year of her life. She earned a Grammy nomination for Best Audiobook Narration. She released a brand new book called Romancing with the Stars on Valentine's Day. She signed with a new talent agency, and she celebrated her 80th birthday wearing a crown. The sash read, 80 and Fab. Kathy Garver once said something that stopped me cold. Cissy never left me. I am still her. 5 seasons, 1 role, a lifetime of carrying that girl with her. Kathy Garver proved that Family Affair could launch a life. But for the person at number 1, this show did something very different, something no one saw coming, and no one could undo. At the very beginning of this video, I told you a secret. In the very first episode of Family Affair, Mrs. Beasley did not wear her glasses. Someone added them for episode 2. And from that moment on, a little girl and her doll became the most beloved image on American television. That little girl was Anissa Jones. Before I tell you how she got here, I need you to understand something. After the show ended, Anissa auditioned for The Exorcist in 1973. The director looked at her and could not do it. He could not imagine America's little Buffy in that kind of role. The pigtails, the smile, they followed her everywhere. Anissa Jones wanted to be seen as something more than the girl with the doll. That was a weight no teenager should ever have to carry. But to understand that weight, you have to go back to the beginning. She was born Mary Anissa Jones on March 11, 1958 in West Lafayette, Indiana. At just 6 years old, her mother took her to an open audition for a cereal commercial. One afternoon, that is all it took. 2 years later, at 8, she was cast as Buffy Davis on Family Affair. She did not just play a role, she became the heart of the entire show. Buffy and Mrs. Beasley were inseparable on screen, and off-screen, the entire country wanted that doll. Mattel turned Mrs. Beasley into a real toy, complete with the blue dress and tiny spectacles. Then came talking Buffy dolls, lunchboxes, coloring books, even a clothing line. For 5 seasons, Anissa worked with a dedication that would have impressed any adult. She was a child. And here is your "wait what" moment. When she broke her leg on a playground in 1969, the producers did not recast her. They did not write her out. They wrote the injury into the show because Buffy could not be replaced, not even for a few weeks. When Family Affair ended, Anissa Jones wanted the one thing every child deserves: a chance to just be a kid. She stepped away from Hollywood. Her former co-star, Brian Keith, offered her a role on his new show, The Brian Keith Show. She turned it down. Then came that Exorcist audition I told you about, and that door closed too. Hollywood remembered Buffy. It could not see Anissa. Anissa Jones left us on August 28, 1976. She was just 18 years old. But here is what I need you to remember. Anissa Jones gave the world something that time cannot take away. She gave us Buffy. She gave us Mrs. Beasley. She gave us the image of a little girl holding the doll close to her heart, making an entire nation feel safe. More than 50 years later, original Mrs. Beasley dolls are still treasured by collectors around the world, and every single one of them still wears those little glasses. The ones that were not there on day one. The ones that someone quietly added without knowing they were creating an American treasure. An American icon. But every icon carries a cost, because not everyone from this family is still here. And before we go, we honor them, one by one, the way they deserve. Anissa Jones gave us Buffy. She left us in 1976. She was only 18. Sebastian Cabot gave us Mr. French. He left us in 1977 at 59. John Williams stepped in as Niles French when the show needed him most. He left us in 1983 at 80 years old. Heather Angel brought quiet elegance to Miss Favisham every single season. She left us in 1986 at 77. Nancy Walker filled that final season with pure joy as Emily Turner. She left us in 1992 at 69. And Brian Keith, our Uncle Bill, the man who made us believe love alone could hold a family together. He left us in 1997 at 75. 6 people, 6 lights, still glowing somewhere in the memory of everyone who watched them. You know what Family Affair really taught us? Family is not always about blood. Sometimes it is a bachelor who has no clue how to raise kids but refuses to quit. Sometimes it is a little girl with a rag doll teaching every adult around her what love actually looks like. Time moves so fast, but these memories, they stay. They live in a theme song you have not heard in decades, but you could still hum it right now. They live in the warmth of sitting next to someone you loved on a worn-out sofa, watching television together, not saying a single word. So let me ask you one last thing. Which of these transformations surprised you the most today? And if you could go back for just one evening, sit next to that person again and watch Family Affair one more time, who would it be? Tell me their name in the comments. I would love to know. If this video brought back even one good memory, I hope you will hit that subscribe button. We have so many more stories to share.